Hey guys, welcome to another video. This time we've got the one of the latest additions to my little collection, the Kyosho Turbo Ultima. Now this one's a really special one for me because I used to own one of these a very long time ago. So I had my history. I started out with a Tamiya boomerang, and then at some stage I ended up buying my brother's lunchbox, and I repainted it black, and I mounted the resistor out front like a, I don't know, like a supercharger or something. Anyhow, after that I was hanging out at the local RC track, and one of the well-known guys there had a Turbo Ultima for sale, which luckily I ended up buying, reasonably inexpensive as well. And if I remember, the main body of the one I brought was purple, but it had the sides here were sort of done in gold, and yeah, it looked, and there was orange on it somewhere as well. It might have just been the stickers, I really can't remember. But the main theme was kind of purple, gold and orange. And it had the silver wheels with the, you know, sort of full dish that this should have with just a little sort of gap. And it had sort of spike tires on the front as well, just, you know, like a 2-spike sort of tire. Yeah, so I got it reasonably cheap. The guy was selling it because he said it understeered too much. So he'd taken the front sway bar off it to try and, I don't know, try and correct that. So I never got the front sway bar, because when I asked him about it, he just sort of brushed it off. So I don't know what he did with it. But anyhow, I got it basically how I've got this one, with nothing in it, no motor. So I think I put a standard silver can motor in it. That's probably all I had access to back then with the funds I had. In fact, I probably pinched it out of my boomerang, if the truth be known. And just put some electrics in it. I seem to recall buying a servo for $5 off a friend back in the 90s. And it had the platinum shocks on it as well. So yeah, this one here, you'll see. This one I've got is a doer-upper, obviously. The wheels are perished and just sort of pop off the rims all the time. But you can still, you know, with the Ultima being re-released, you can buy these tires reasonably easily. So that's one good thing. The backs are a bit more trouble to get hold of. So most likely add them to my Marwan shopping list whenever I get some money to place an order with him for pretty much all of my tires. Excuse me, all my buggies have got shot tires. The sway bar on this one, you can see, is missing the links for the front sway bar, but I'm jumping around a bit, sorry guys, but the lower arms have a little bit of damage anyway, so I think I'm going to replace those. So I'll buy a sway bar kit and the arms and the obligatory Kyosho bumper, which is always scuffed to shit. Seeing as we're here, the chassis on this one is not too bad, but I'm going to replace it. And same with the little back motor guard, that needs replacing as well. It's just too scratched up for even for display, really, you know, well, for my liking is what I really mean. Yeah, so it's got the gold shocks. The one I had back in the day was full platinum. Actually, I don't know, I've thought about swapping the platinum shock links off my toms and putting them on this, and putting the golds off this on the toms. I don't know if the sizes are the same or not. I haven't really done a comparison yet, but that could be a plan. I just think, I'm pretty sure that this came out with the platinums, or at least, you know, mine did. So, well, mine came with platinum, so I want to essentially recreate the buggy that I used to have as a kid, so I may do that. I don't remember these upper arms being non-adjustable, but yeah, they must have been. So yeah, the body on this one's not too bad. It's got a few, you know, sort of rough spots where it hasn't been cut out particularly well, which most of mine have a few imperfections. The wing holder is, well, it needs to be purchased because there is none. This guy here is just sort of, you know, it hangs on with a bit of the stickiness that's left, so that needs fixing. There is a bit of cracking in the shell, mostly around here. It's not too bad though. Like, I think I will keep the shell, because I know you can get reproductions in that, but I actually like having the vintage body shells. I just think they look really cool, and yeah, sure, they're not perfect and they often have some damage, but I think that's part of the charm of the vintage RCs, if you like. When I got this car, it actually had a carbon, I don't know what you'd call it, but a carbon shock tower brace that sat behind the normal shock tower and went across here like this. So I've taken that off because it made it really hard to get the body on and off. But what I was thinking I could do is actually cut it and put it back on just as a brace without the you know, the crossbar. That would help strengthen up the front a bit. Although, you know, saying that, this is just going on display, so probably not too essential. But yeah, moving on to the chassis then. It's a resto, obviously. The top deck is not too bad. I mean, it looks awful, but it's actually, you know, it will clean up. Someone has put some tape across here, I assume, to try and keep dirt from falling into the steering, maybe, I'm not sure. Obviously it needs a gear cover and a good old tidy up. The shocks themselves, I know we've talked about the shocks, but they actually feel really nice. These back ones feel beautiful. And that's kind of my experience with the golds, is they are really nice shock absorbers. This has got a re-release shock absorber on it by the looks of it, and the adjuster is broken, so it's just sort of, springs just like rammed it up to the screw there. But that's all right, we can sort that. I just got to keep an eye out for a gold. See, the golds are a much bigger looking capacity than the re-release, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, so there's a bit of work to do on this one. I did get some parts. I have a new chassis, and this one's actually from the original Ultima. I'll turn it upside down, I'll probably get some crap fall out. Yeah, this one's from the original Ultima, so I'm hoping that it's the same or close enough. I do notice there's 2 extra holes here that aren't on mine. Hopefully that's not going to be a problem. The front holes look in roughly the right spot, so it should be good there, and then these 2 at the front look okay. I think it's pretty much the same. The colour is different. The Turbo Ultima came with a sort of more, I don't know how you'd describe it, but it's less silver and more sort of, has a sort of bronzy sort of finish to it. So unfortunately I'm going to lose that originality of that different coloured chassis, because I didn't know or realise at the time when I brought this that it's just a silver finish. I'll get it out of the bag. So here's what it looks like out of the bag. I don't know if you can tell the difference too easy. Sorry for all the reflection and that. Yeah, so it's a different colour. I actually had a heart and mouth moment there where I thought it was completely bent and twisted in the shipping. Don't know if you can see there where it's like that on both sides, and then I realised on the original it's got a bulge there as well, so that was lucky. I was just thinking for a second there that I'd brought a mangled chassis, which would have just been my luck. So yeah, that's the chassis sorted anyhow. The other thing I brought was the upper deck, and again this is for the not for the original Ultima, but this is for the re-release Ultima. And I think I made a bit of a boob here, because I just assumed the upper decks would be the same, because they looked the same from the eBay advert. But let me just open it. Okay, so yeah, it's quite different. The material is a plastic, okay, and the original is, I don't know, it's FRP or something like that. It's yeah, very different. This is very plasticky. The pattern's a bit different here, and also it's got this, I don't know what you call it, it's got these raised sections underneath, which I think is going to be an issue, because yeah, where the screws go through, particularly around here and that, it needs to sit flat, and I don't know if it may fit inside the chassis. Let me, got one right here, why don't I just try it? Let's just try it on this chassis. So if we're sitting at, oh, there we go. Okay, so it does still, despite the little raised sections and that, it's still like a nice, it still fits on the original chassis. So I don't know, guys. I think in some ways I would prefer to try and clean up the original top deck and use that instead. This one's nice and new and looks more attractive, but I really want the originality in some ways. So yeah, I have to think about whether I use this or just try and clean up the original. I think I'm leaning towards the original for sure. But yeah, anyway, sorry, I'm just thinking about it. So that's that. Also included is front and rear shock towers, and they're quite different again. So yeah, they're quite different. They're different material, more reinforcements, countersunk holes. Same with the back. This whole section here is countersunk on both sides, whereas the original it's a flat piece. Pretty sure it's flat piece on the other side as well. Yeah, I think it has a separate section that bolts up to it. Maybe they've built it in on this, or partially built it in. I don't know. But I think I'll definitely stick with the original rear towers, and probably the fronts as well. This car just really needs a good clean. It's really not too bad. The front and rear sections are fine. It's just that scraped up chassis that is kind of the worst part, and then wheels and tires. I didn't mention the wheels are probably, these are not the wheels I like. I talked at the beginning about the ones with the bigger dishes, which is what I typically associate with a Turbo Ultima. These are more like Ultima OG wheels. They're the right colour pretty much, and the condition of them is not too bad. So I think I might just stick with these wheels for now anyway, and just put new tyres. See what I mean about the tyre? It's just, since I've been moving it around and stuff, it's just popped off. It's got a serious flat spot on here. Yeah, definitely a doer-upper. But yeah, I think I might keep those wheels. They're not what I want, but they're good enough for now. Yeah, so talk for about 15 minutes. Probably will call it a day there, and I'll probably get this car back on video once I've tidied it up a bit, and hopefully source some parts. I'm looking at quite a lot of the Ultima parts that are available and hoping that they're the same, and so far I've got to admit I've been a bit burnt, but I'm going to keep going because that's what you do. This front bulkhead part is available, although whether it's the same I don't know, but I'd like to get it because with a lot of the screws on these Ultimas, even thinking back to the one I had back in the day, the threads strip out and screws like these front ones here will just spin and spin, and same with these ones from the underside. They just won't tighten because that plastic bulkhead just gets stripped. I had quite a lot of these top deck ones back in the day that didn't tighten as well, but I think a bit of Loctite will, I was trying to think what it's called, a bit of Loctite will sort that hopefully. So yeah, that's my down and dirty Turbo Ultima. I'd also really like to get an Ultima Pro because obviously back in the day having the Turbo Ultima made me just completely lust for the Ultima Pro, because I just thought it was, especially being called Pro, I just thought that's the one to have, you know, that's for the pros like me, not. So yeah, if anyone knows of an Ultima Pro, or there's two different types of Ultima Pro, I'd go for either one. It's whatever I can get, or even an Ultima 2. Just if you know of any going in the UK, please give me a shout. But yeah, I've babbled, I've run over time. I wasn't meaning to go for so long, so thanks to those who have stayed to the end, I appreciate it. Like and subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.